Well, YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul and Iron Mike Tyson squared off in the ring last night. Paul beat the 58-year-old boxing legend. Injured or not, still haven't found out, but he defeated him by unanimous decision following a low-energy 8 rounds in front of more than 70,000 fans at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. Paul described growing up and then going up against the former heavyweight champ as an honor. Now, Netflix is facing some criticism in their first attempt at handling a live sporting event in last night's boxing match between Paul and Tyson. Many viewers taking to social media expressing their frustrations with the streaming and buffering issues throughout the event. Well, as of 10 o'clock last night, the website Down Detector reported around 85,000 users experiencing problems with the streaming platform. Netflix is set to broadcast 2 NFL games on Christmas Day, along with WWW Raw on January 6th. Now, for more on this, we're joined live by media consultant at ThinkStart.ca, Mohit Rajhans. Thanks for joining us here live on CP24. I messaged you yesterday when this happened. I'm like, we got to talk about this, because I would understand if Netflix was some upstart streaming service and it got people to, subscribe. But this is Netflix. It's massive. How could this have happened, having buffering issues of this magnitude? I thought it was just me, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. And it also was a problem worldwide. Think of it this way. Netflix has dropped the gloves, so to speak, when it comes down to being able to launch boxing into an entirely new audience. And last night, they proved they just can't handle the pressure that comes with 70,000 live people watching in Cowboy Stadium, plus a global audience that they probably weren't prepared for. But like you said, they didn't deliver on their promise in 3 separate ways. They didn't deliver on the quality of the stream, they didn't deliver on the quality of the production, and they didn't deliver on the promise of value of entertainment.
And so, without getting too into baseball, what hardware, what software was missing? Do they need? I don't know what is required for streaming. Like, do they need another generator or something? Like, what do they need to make sure this doesn't happen? Because there's more of these live events coming for them.
Yeah, that's a great point. Phil, I think we're going to be in a situation the next week. We're going to see a lot of finger pointing about whose fault this really was. On some ends, they'll say, well, the last mile, so to speak, is up to your carrier. So if you don't have the right carrier in your area, maybe that's why it was buffering for you and your experience was bad. But the truth is, this was a global problem that spurred out onto social media. So when you do social listening like I do for brands and people, you start to realize that the conversation became more about the buffering than it did about the event. And that is a problem for Netflix users. Remember, some of these people are cord nevers. They've never had this issue of buffering in the Netflix experience. So like you mentioned, do you continue to pay a monthly subscription to an app like this when you can't actually get the premium events that you want?
Right. No, absolutely. And so how do they, you talked about that, our carrier, because I was watching with my brother on my Wi-Fi. I checked my upload, download speed is pretty good. My brother then resorted to watching on his phone on our ottoman using data. So could that actually be part of the problem, that you got to use your data and not your Wi-Fi?
Let's call a spade here. If this was the Eras Tour and they were streaming this live, Swiftie fans would be up in arms about a glitch in the system. We are headed to a place right now where streamers are taking more and more of these live events on, and we can't necessarily depend on looking at the aftermath of what could be wrong and thinking to ourselves, oh, well, we'll get them next time. Football on Christmas Day is going to be such a big audience, and it's going to be one of those situations where you're not going to want to be entertaining people and then wondering what's happening in games. I think Netflix is showing right now that they have some cracks in the armor. Amazon is doing really well in the sports area. We're seeing specialized apps actually doing really well. And maybe Netflix just doesn't have what it takes to do live sporting events.
Got to figure it out. And yeah, I guess they don't have that much time. Just a couple weeks, as we talk about, they're hosting the NFL. This is not arena football, the National Football League. And I guess you're right. We do have comparisons. People watch NFL on Thursday night on Amazon. People are now watching, Monday night Prime with the NHL. So people are now comparing. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. All right.
we also can't forget that all of this costs money. So as families, we also have to make sure that whatever we're actually paying into, we get the right entertainment value out of. And unfortunately, Netflix did not deliver that last night.
Yeah, they got to figure it out and figure it out quickly. All right, media consultant, ThinkStart.ca, Mohit Rajhans. Thank you very much. We do appreciate it, as always.
Take care, Phil.
Of course.